Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another edition of RVB Capitol Talk, sponsored by the Dicor Corporation. With me, as always, Sherman Goldenberg. I'm Rick Kessler, and joining us is Greg Four. We're with RV Business, and Jeff Rutherford, CEO of Airxcel, and Anthony Walschlager, the newly promoted group president for Airxcel. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks for having us.
Greg, I think you had something to start with.
Yeah, I wanted to say or ask you in the difficult times that obviously our industry is going, I wouldn't say difficult, challenging times, and then to lose an executive like Kevin Phillips in the middle of all that and to have to restructure and reorganize, I think that says a lot about your organization. Can you expound on that a little bit, Jeff?
Yeah, so obviously the loss of Kevin, both from a personal friendship as well as a business colleague, but also an industry leader, was a huge loss for everybody, surely unexpected and very tragic under the circumstances. And, that's tried our business in many different ways. On a positive note, for years, we've had a process that we go through every year developing an annual business plan. And part of that business plan was to always ensure that we had an organization plan in place that had succession plans for all of our leaders, from myself all the way down to the manager levels. And the way we describe it is, imagine if you won the lottery, what would we do? And the outcome is the same, whether you win the lottery or some people say get hit by a bus. I prefer the glass half full approach, but the outcome is the same. And in this particular case, we had succession plans already developed. We knew exactly what we were going to do. And really it was a function of getting over the shock of the loss of Kevin, and then kind of resetting ourselves emotionally and mentally. And then we pulled out our book and we said, what was our plan? What did we say we were going to do in the event that something happened, whether it's a promotion, whether it's a termination, whether it's whatever the reason may be. And in this particular case, we had been working with Anthony now for several years about expanding his scope and his responsibility, such that when this opportunity presented itself, for whatever circumstance, he was going to be prepared and ready to assume it.
So well, first let me go to Elkhart. This has a lot to do with the Elkhart market, doesn't it?
Well, it has a lot to do with the Elkhart market, but it also has to do with the skills and knowledge that Anthony brings to the business. So obviously our greatest presence on our RV business is within the Elkhart market, and Anthony is well known and well respected within that market. But what Anthony also does extremely well as a business is he's very customer focused, and he's demonstrated that through his leadership with Dicor and what he's done with MCD and United Shade and Vixen. And now with the acquisition of Clear Vision Windows, we wanted to do a successful integration of that business as well. And with Anthony's focus on that market and his knowledge of how he has a practice that he calls aim small, miss small. So he's very detailed in how he drives his product. So it was very logical with that experience, that background of both manufacturing as well as distribution, that he assumed this role and be a key part of helping integrate the Clear Vision business into our larger Airxcel family.
Let me ask Anthony a question if I can. Anthony, with your new responsibilities and broadened responsibilities that includes oversight of the sales and marketing activities, both at the OEM and aftermarket level, how do you see Airxcel's current position, and how would you like to see that change going into the future?
Well, I think we've worked very hard over the last 5 to 6 years, especially in developing our brand, both in the aftermarket and the OEM side of our business. There's been a lot of focus on that and having continuity and then truly understanding who we are and what we want to be. There are plans in place to further expand that in both market segments. Hopefully I can add some horsepower into those activities to ensure that we meet the goals that we've set for ourselves. I see it as an exciting time, regardless of the challenges that we all face in this market today. I really see it as an exciting time where there's plenty of opportunities for us to continue to get better. Doesn't matter whether it's in our branding or marketing or whether it's in our day-to-day activities in manufacturing and distribution.
It's almost, at times I think about it, Anthony, a start over time. I mean, it's not technically a start over time, but coming out of this viral pandemic, it's sort of a reset time, isn't it?
Yes and no. I think that we can use the pandemic as a time period where perhaps things have changed post and prior. However, we believe heavily in planning and not having surprises in our business, whether positive or negative. We spend a lot of time on doing that. And because of it, I think we've navigated through these challenging times well. And we pride ourselves in not making excuses, but rather developing a plan and then executing on that plan. And while we're not perfect 100% of the time, it's not through a lack of effort or ability. It's truly those sometimes things happen. But again, we're committed to being the best possible version of ourselves and to our customers every single day. And even if we are being successful in certain areas of our business, our mindset is continuing or expanding on that success.
I can come up with another question, but the two of you, go ahead.
No, sure.
You want me to bring it into the finish line, Sherm, or
We can go a little bit longer.
well, the finish line is, Jeff, you're at the helm of RVIA during some very unusual times, and as we all know who have sat in that position, we followed some pretty good thinkers that helped us find our way. Can you share any thoughts based on the recent board meeting that you might have regarding RVIA's direction and member benefits?
Yeah, so, I have the benefit, you mentioned it well, about following some pretty great thinkers in the position prior to me. So Gary, Bob Parrish, yourself, Doug Gaddert have all been great mentors to me, helping navigate through these very difficult times for our industry. We're seeing record demand, low inventory, and all kinds of headwinds as it relates to labor and components and materials, et cetera. And to be able to do that and do it as an industry and deliver the kind of results that the industry is doing right now, I think is tremendous. But on top of that, as we see RVIA focusing not only on their core programs that have been a staple to RVIA for a number of years, we're also starting to view, what's next. Where do we start to place our focus as an industry in the future? And one of the areas that we're looking very closely at now through an association that can help our members is this concept of corporate responsibility. What can we do for sustainability of our environment? What can we do for some of the social activities that are occurring in our industry today? How do we make people feel more welcome and enjoying the outdoors and outdoor recreation? And how can we as an association help improve that? What are we doing relative to our businesses to make sure that we're conducting our businesses in a fair and a proper manner? Some of the larger companies have all kinds of initiatives on corporate responsibility. Your larger public companies are very engaged in that. Some of the smaller companies, not so much. And they also don't necessarily have the knowledge or resources to help in that. So that's one of the new areas that RVIA is looking at that would increase the value to the members in trying to adapt to the emerging way business is being conducted today.
RVIA itself, you've enjoyed being chairman?
I love being chairman. You know, I had the first opportunity to re-engage with a number of colleagues here a couple of weeks ago. There was RVTI had a board meeting, strategic planning meeting that you guys covered. And that was the first time I've really had a chance to get back together in the last year and a half with all of our peers. And it was so refreshing to be able to do that after pretty much not being able to do that for a while. Looking forward to what we have coming up this summer, the RVAA conference in Atlanta is coming up in August. We have the Hall of Fame, we have the Power Breakfast, we have RVDA coming up in the fall. You know, I'm not saying we're back to normal yet by any stretch, but it sure is great to see, to be able to interact with people again, as we have for many years.
We had similar experiences here in Elkhart with people we haven't seen in God knows how long.
Yeah.
At the next table at the restaurant, you know, here's Joe, who we haven't seen, like I say, in a year and a half. And so, you know, it's an extraordinary moment, isn't it?
Well, we look forward to, you know, hopefully we're rounding third base on this whole COVID thing. And as I said, we're starting to see improvement in the marketplace in terms of labor availability. A number of states have terminated the additional federal unemployment benefit. And almost overnight, that had an immediate impact of people starting to respond to job openings. We're starting to see some areas of component raw material supply improve. We're still seeing some hiccups here and there, but every day seems to be better and better. And, you know, I just look forward to, you know, the next 6 months or so as we really start to see the economy recover from the past year and a half.
Anthony, any last comments from you?
No, I'd echo Jeff's comments wholeheartedly. I think we're better as a business having gone through these challenging experiences. I don't think that they're necessarily over, but yet, you know, I'm excited for what the future holds for sure.
All right. Hey, thank you very much for joining us in a Capitol Talk. Rick, sign us off.
I've always, I've been saying this lately, we despite all these headwinds, it's almost like we're setting records with one hand tied behind our back. Not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing.
We're all very fortunate for what we've been able to live through for the last year. So count our blessings for where we're at.
And with
Thank you, guys.
I
Yeah,
think
thank you.
We'll
Yep,
sign
Thank
off.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Yep, bye now.